grab your foam roller and let's get started. We're going to begin on our IT band. So you're going to put the foam roller down, position it right on the side of your hip, and you can either be on your forearm or up on your hands. Just make sure if you're on your hand, anytime you have a slight bend in the elbow, and the hand's flat instead of tilted up. So start to roll into the hip. Let the body sink into the foam roller. And then as you start to feel comfortable, you're going to work your way down all the way towards the top of your knee. At any point, if you feel a tight area, you can pause, extend your arm, and add some arm circles. This will help put a little more pressure into that tight area. So as you're making your way down towards your knee, remember to never foam roll the bone, we're just foam rolling the muscles. And we want to be aware of what our back and our neck is doing. So we're trying to get this tension out of our body. We don't want to be creating more tension. You can foam roll the whole length back and forth. You can do small little increments. You can hold as long as you need to. Every day as we pull out our foam roller, our body's going to feel different. And what we need that day is going to be different, as well as the right side is going to feel different than the left side. And now we're going to transition into the front of the leg. We're going to start right up on that hip flexor, positioning the foam roller, and then noticing what our leg that is supporting us is doing. We want to have our knee stacked over our ankle. And if we can, we want to try and bring it in. We don't want to let it flare out. As we move down the quadricep, we're going to have to reposition that front leg so that the knee remains over the ankle the entire time. So once you've started into the hip flexor, then you're going to move down into the quad. We're going to go that whole length again to the top of the knee. One area you're really going to feel in the foam roller once you get into the quad is that outside part of your quadricep, more that bulky part of the muscle that sticks out. You want to turn your leg slightly inward so that you get that area. That's usually the part that's going to feel tighter than the rest of the quadricep. So again, as you are rolling up and down it, if you feel that tight spot, hold into it, breathe. It's a great opportunity to start our day or add breathing work into our day. We have one more stretch on this side, so you're going to come back to the foam roller. You're going to lean into that hip again, plant the foot, bend the knee, and you're going to do a figure 4 stretch to really dig into the hip. So instead of moving forward and back, this time we're going to rock side to side. So you can find if there's any tightness in the hip still. You can hold into it, breathe into it. You can either have both hands down on the ground if you need extra support, or you can extend one arm up. You can just hold it up by your head like you're doing a crunch, or you can add arm circles. The arm circles are always going to just add a little more flexibility work into the shoulder. Now we're going to switch sides, starting back onto the IT band again. Just sink into the hip. Notice how the side you just foam rolled feels compared to our side that's fresh and we haven't dug into those spots yet. As you're ready, start to work your way towards your knee, remembering that this side could feel a lot different than the other side did. And it's not uncommon to feel like you need to foam roll one side more than the other side. So if you have a certain side of the body that you feel more pain in the hip or the knee, I always try and foam roll pretty much twice as long on that side. That side of the body is really speaking to you and saying that it needs more attention. So wherever you're feeling through your foam rolling needs attention, try and spend extra time there. As you've rolled out the IT band on this side, then we're going to transition back into the hip flexor. Really try and keep that supporting knee close to the body. We don't want it to flare out. And as you're ready, you're going to start to roll down that quad again. And once you've rolled a couple times, then turn that leg in again so you can really get into that bulkier part of the muscle that's doing a lot of the work. and pausing any place that you really feel that tightness. Each day as you foam roll more and more, start to notice those spots that used to be more your trigger spots that you needed to hold. You'll start to notice that you won't have as many, they'll move, they'll change. So as you're holding them, you might be able to add more arm circles, different movements to it to get even deeper into the body. So now we're going to add our figure 4 stretch to finish up on this side. And again, instead of rocking forward and back, we're going to more rock side to side. And this one, once you feel comfortable, you can really play with a lot of different arm movements to see even how our upper body is really connected to our lower body, and how all the movements can help each other, or one movement can be disrupting another part of our body. So now we're going to go to the hamstrings in the back of the body. So when we do the foam rolling like this, we're really engaging the core, and then we also want to be up on our fists instead of tenting the hands so that we're protecting the ligaments in our hands. So with the hamstring, you could go one leg at a time. If you're not feeling it when you're rolling 2, then you're really going to get into the core too. And then once you feel like the hamstrings are good, you can move down to the calves. For me, I don't really feel anything when I foam roll hamstrings and calves, so I usually tend to spend more time on the IT bands in those areas where I feel it a lot more. So now we're going to start to move into our back. So here you can either come into a butterfly stretch, or you can lift the hips up, or you can extend the legs out. So this is going to be dependent on how your lower back is feeling and what's best. You can kind of rock around a little bit. If you want to focus on heart opener, you're just going to slowly start to move the foam roller up a little bit more. You can extend the arms out to the side, overhead. You can here you can hold as long as you want to. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to wiggle it down even more so we have the foam roller on our upper back. And here, when I have it right on my scapulas, I kind of like to just hold it a little bit, supporting my head as if I was doing a crunch. Just really letting the heart open towards the ceiling. Sometimes you'll get some sternum pops here. And then when you're ready, you're going to foam roll out the upper body. So you can support the head the whole time and just rocking back and forth. You could pick a small segment of your spine, or you could do the whole spine up and down. Again, just holding any tight area you feel. You can extend both arms out at once, or you can alternate. So if you need to support your neck, remember we don't want to build more tension as we're trying to release it. So you can support it, move one arm around at a time. This one we can also get deeper into it if you take a tennis ball or a golf ball, anything that's really dense. You can do these movements just putting a ball under your scapula. So you do one scapula at a time. You can roll around on it too, like you do the foam roller. So the most important thing is to remember to breathe. Move slow. It's not about how fast you go through it. Enjoy the time.